Hey, what's up guys, JD Vim here, part of Vim Nation Wrestling, and this is the wrestling news and rumors for today, September the 21st, 2016. Let's get into our top story. TNA tomorrow will be a big show because of Cody Rhodes is scheduled to debut tomorrow. At least there's a teaser for him to debut in TNA Wrestling. It looks like here that there was a video that was posted from Impact Wrestling, and you clearly see a video of him, saying that his future is now, and saying all roads leads to tomorrow night. So yeah, that is gonna be Cody Rhodes coming to TNA. We know that Brandy Rhodes signed to TNA already as an in-ring competitor. And Cody, he's going to be signed as well to the roster. This is something that's been in talks for a while now. So, 100%, 99.9% sure that Cody Rhodes will be there tomorrow live on Impact. There's no other person I can think of that will be debuting tomorrow and it having been a big deal. Cody Rhodes is the biggest signing to TNA in years. Just because of his stature from WWE. Yeah, you could say, Drew McIntyre or Drew Galloway. But, Drew Galloway was not actually involved in programs for, the World Heavyweight Championship or anything of that nature. Neither really has Cody Rhodes. But Cody Rhodes feuded with DX when he was in Legacy. He was part of Randy Orton's stable. He, feuded with Rey Mysterio going into WrestleMania 27. He was the man that brought back the classic Intercontinental Champion. So Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, his legacy, no pun intended, is far superior to Drew Galloway's in the WWE. You can also say guys like, Ethan Carter III, EC3, was a big signing, but he was just a no-name jobber on the WWE roster as Derek Bateman. And he came up from the NXT, I believe it was like an NXT Season 3, if I'm not mistaken, or Season 2 or Season 3. But nevertheless, though, this is the biggest TNA signing in a few years at least, as far as getting WWE talent on over. Probably biggest since we've seen guys like, Booker T, Mr. Anderson, when Jeff Hardy came back to TNA, about 6 years ago. So, in my opinion, I think this is the biggest signing in TNA in a long, long time, man. If this guy is not put in a main event caliber situation from the get-go, then that is a travesty. But, yeah, let's see how this goes tomorrow for Cody Rhodes, and seeing his wife there, Brandy, as well, and to see how they are treated in TNA. On to our next story. Talking about WWE's ratings this week for SmackDown and Raw. They both went down this week. Their ratings went down this week. SmackDown, I thought was gonna get I almost thought was gonna get a better rating than Raw, but they were pretty close. They were pretty close in viewership this week, though, which is not good for Raw. SmackDown is a far superior, better show than Raw. SmackDown drew 2.2 million viewers this week. They were down from the 2.6 million viewers this week. That's the lowest since SmackDown moved to Tuesday nights, which is being a previous low of a 2.4 million viewers for the August 9th episode, and which the final rating for the show was a 1.7, down from last week's 1.8. So this is the second lowest rating since SmackDown moved to Tuesdays nights, in the line with the 1.69 for the August 9th episode. Now, on Monday's Raw, their ratings was at a 2.6 million viewers this week. So, SmackDown was at 2.6 million viewers last week. You see what I'm saying? You see how bad that is for Raw? Because SmackDown had 2.6 million viewers last week. Raw is supposed to be over 3.5 million viewers every week easy. And this week here is the lowest viewership for a non-holiday Raw going back to the 90s. To the 90s, guys. This is in the second lowest since the 90s, including holiday episodes. Now, the final Raw rating went up to a 1.97 from last week's 1.88. So it went up in the rating, but it's down in viewership, which is the number one thing. But it's still under the 2.0 mark. And it's the first time that Raw had back-to-back ratings under 2 since the 90s. Unreal. And it has to be since 94, 95, because around 95, 96, when Raw was, when Raw was actually going up against WCW, they were in the low 2s every week until it just went up and up from there. It just went up from there. They were in the low 2s though. But this is not good. This is not good for WWE whatsoever. And like I said, SmackDown's trending in the upward, Raw's trending in the downward, and it's just fascinating to see. Let's see how this portrays and progresses in the next few weeks. But our final story here tonight is about Vince McMahon and and him being on SmackDown. A lot of people out there saying that Vince McMahon did not really have any influence on the SmackDown brand, hence why Raw is not as good as SmackDown. So, there has been that speculation that he isn't as hands-on with the SmackDown product. But according to a tweet from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, that's not the case at all, and as Vince is still very hands-on with both shows. So if that's the case, let's just say that's 100% factual. I'm not going to doubt the man himself, Dave Meltzer. Okay, he's about as credible as anybody you can get information from. But let's say that Vince is hands-on both shows. I would love to be in a room with him for about 15-20 minutes. Ask him, how can you have Raw be so crap and SmackDown be better? Or really, even with SmackDown, I'm not saying SmackDown's like the best wrestling show of all time. It's better than, SmackDown from 2004. You know what I mean? It's not better than Raw from 1998. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Raw is clearly, they're not really trying right now. They're not trying. They don't care on Raw. I can see that the way that the show goes, I don't know if it's because it's 3 hours, I don't know. You can tell that they're trying more on SmackDown. They're putting more effort on SmackDown. I can see storylines being made easy to follow on SmackDown than what it is on Raw. So if Vince McMahon has hands on both shows, would like to ask him, why is the writers, not necessarily telling, but everything that's going on backstage, why it seems like that Raw is not trying as much compared to SmackDown, where I can see progression every week. It may not be the progression that I particularly want to see, but at least I can tell that you're trying on SmackDown. I would literally ask Vince McMahon that question. And, he's going to be like, we're not trying, we're doing the very best we can. And I love this. I love Vince McMahon. I think he's, he's clearly the most influential person in professional wrestling history, period. I don't care what anybody says. It was Vince's vision for WrestleMania. Yeah, he built it on the back of Hulk Hogan, but it was his vision of WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It was his vision of, not really his vision per se, but he made the call for the Attitude Era. You know what I mean? He was the one that bought out all these little, territories, back in the 80s to make WWF at the time a national product. So that is Vince's vision that I don't question at all. And he is a very influential character, but there comes to a point where he needs to, finally realize, hey, I'm not as good as I once was. My mind as a wrestling product is not good as it once was. He's a very smart man, Vince McMahon. He knows the business. He started out, commentating back in the 70s when his dad was running WWF at the time. But nevertheless, guys, I don't know. I don't want to rant about this, about Vince McMahon and when I think he should leave. I mean, he can leave at any time because that is his right. This is his company, his family's company, his dad's company. But I think he needs to start thinking about if something were, to happen, who's going to be next in line and how they're going to proceed forward. But, yeah, guys, that's going to be it for me. If you did like this video, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. Let's try to get to 50 likes here on this video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and like the Facebook page, where both links are down below. And I will see you guys later. You guys have a great day. Peace out.